My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, do we have a bunch of different things to go through today when it comes to Devin the Dream Haney and the breaking news, the rumors, the reports circulating the boxing world that Devin the Dream Haney, former undisputed, youngest to ever do it, WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, Ring Magazine, the lightweight champion of the world, which was supposed to be Teofimo Lopez, do not forget. But the WBC decided to reinstate Devin the Dream Haney to full WBC champion, changing Vasily Lomachenko to the WBC franchise champion. By the time Teofimo Lopez fights Vasily Lomachenko, technically, the WBC full title isn't on the line. Teofimo Lopez beats Vasily Lomachenko. Teofimo Lopez ends up fighting George Kambosos with the titles on the line. And George Kambosos beats Teo, taking all the straps off of him. And what does George Kambosos do? Go and lose his titles to Devin the Dream Haney, making Devin Haney, who had the WBC full strap at the time, the undoubtedly technical, undisputed lightweight champion of the world. Decided to move up to the junior welterweight division, became the WBC champion. Decided to move up to 147 pounds, take on Brian Norman Jr., the WBO welterweight champion of the world. In his first fight in the division, goes in there, beats him with ease. Devin the Dream Haney, who was in negotiations, setting up a fight with the Rolly Romero, that ended up turning south. PBC, Rolly Romero not being able to offer Devin the Dream Haney guaranteed money. Devin Haney not liking the offer that the PBC put up. They don't want to put up any money on their side of the end. Has got used to the guaranteed money. And now, rumors, reports around the boxing world that Devin the Dream Haney is looking to sign, I don't know if it's a 2, 3, 4, 5 fight deal, like how Conor Ben just signed 2.5 year 5-5 deal with Zuffa Boxing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, instantly when I seen this breaking news, there's a bunch of different things that came to my head that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the good things. I want to talk about the bad things. I want to talk about the future of Devin Haney if he makes this decision and if he doesn't. And I want to talk about the future of Zuffa Boxing if Devin Haney decides to sign over with Zuffa. My goodness, absolutely breaking news. Let's start with the good things. What's good about this move for Devin Haney and Bill Haney? Well, what's one thing that they obviously want? Guaranteed purses, guaranteed money. What is Dana White, Zuffa Boxing, and these guys offering? Guaranteed money, guaranteed fights, which aligns with what Devin Haney wants. And keep in mind, Zuffa Boxing is paying a hefty bag right now for a lot of these fighters. And if it's somebody like Devin the Dream Haney, who is one of the top boxers in the sport right now, currently holds the WBO welterweight title, who is talked about a lot in the boxing world, they're going to offer Devin the Dream Haney a big bag. Devin Haney could benefit largely when it comes to the money aspect with this deal in Zuffa Boxing. But this is something that we can't ignore. Some of the bad things, which are, what is Devin Haney thinking as the WBO welterweight champion of the world, currently fighting under sanctioning body? What is he thinking is going to happen the second he signs over to Zuffa Boxing? Will Dana White comply? Turkey Al-Sheikh, Sela, who owns 60% of Zuffa Boxing, 40% owned by TKO Holdings, will they act as the promoters when Devin the Dream Haney's career begins under this deal? And even if they decide to do that, will anybody who's fighting against Devin the Dream Haney, promoted by Zuffa Boxing, will anybody allow this to happen? Oscar De La Hoya just came out yesterday to his Instagram story, dropped a message to Conor Benn that says, Conor Benn, you're doing this whole press tour about wanting to fight Ryan Garcia for the WBC welterweight title. But how do you expect to do that when you're signed to Zuffa Boxing? Letting it be known, Oscar De La Hoya, who promotes Ryan Garcia, has him under contract, has denied Ryan Garcia fights before. I guarantee you will deny Ryan Garcia his WBC strap being put on the line when it comes to involvement with a Zuffa fighter. Conor Benn will not be getting that fight because Oscar De La Hoya will not let it happen, right? So, I look at Devin the Dream Haney. If Devin Haney wants to have a rematch with Ryan Garcia and get paid fat, how will this happen? How is it gonna happen if Oscar De La Hoya is looking to block people out? Not only will the WBO strip Devin Haney, but now the sanctioning bodies and the promoters who are going against the Muhammad Ali Revival Act, totally against Zuffa Boxing, will box out Devin Haney more than they already have. More than they already have by not allowing him to fight Ryan Garcia, Lewis Crocker, who's under Matchroom. He's not going to fight against Rolly Romero, who's the WBA welterweight champion, who's under PBC. Right? Man, there's a decision to be made here for Devin Haney, because it's guaranteed that if Devin Haney does sign over to Zuffa Boxing, there's going to be a lot of issues in trying to set up the mega fights that the boxing fans have been wanting around the world. No Ryan Garcia fight, no Rolly Romero fight, no Lewis Crocker fight. Devin Haney would be stuck fighting fighters in Zuffa Boxing. Welterweight fighters like Richardson Hitchens, former IBF 140 junior welterweight champion of the world, decided to vacate his bout, moving on up to 147 pounds, signed to Zuffa Boxing. And Conor Benn, who just fought against Regis Prograis at 150 pounds. Not a lot of people were impressed with that win, but he got it done. At 150 pounds, though, we're still yet to see Conor Benn fight at 147 pounds. Since 4 years. It's been 4 years since 2022. So, definitely not going to be able to give the boxing fans the fights that we want to see. If he decides to sign over to Zuffa, if he fights at 147 pounds, looks to become the Zuffa champion, then for a fact he is losing his WBO welterweight title. He will be stripped, as the sanctioning bodies are not complying and will not, especially if the Muhammad Ali Revival Act, which is battling down today. Oscar De La Hoya, I seen the clip of him giving his speech. The dude was looking down, did not make eye contact one time. Towards the end of his little speech, it looked like he was rushing it. It's not turning out well. And if the Muhammad Ali Revival Act gets passed and the UBO is able to get formed, a unified boxing organization, and the Zuffa title does become that and is no longer a trophy, but is an actual title under the UBO, then for a fact the sanctioning bodies are not complying, which means you are stuck fighting no longer for sanctioning body titles, but under the Zuffa banner, which doesn't allow you to pick the fights that you want to pick, doesn't allow you to wear the shorts that you want to wear, doesn't allow you to do a lot of things. but it's guaranteeing you money, guaranteeing you insurance, right? I believe it's 8 to 12 weeks leading up into your fight. The second you begin training camp, you will have health insurance. So say if you get an injury 6 months out of your fight and you're pissed off because now you lost a bunch of money, you got to pay your trainers, you got to do this. Well, guess what? You got insurance. So you still get paid a certain amount of money. Devin the Dream Haney has a decision to make, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't looking good if he does decide to sign with Zuffa Boxing. Now, money-wise, yes. But I guarantee you there's already a lot of people, boxing content creators, that are crapping on Devin the Dream Haney, saying that you're getting signed over to Zuffa Boxing. That's automatically ducking some of the best fights in the world that could possibly be made. That's not me saying that, but there's a narrative that's going to be pushed around this topic and Devin Haney being signed to Zuffa. Now, that could be bad for the future of Devin Haney, or it could be good. Whatever way you want to look at it, for Devin Haney, it's up to him. If the money's good, he's already had all the titles. Former undisputed, youngest undisputed champion to ever do it in the sport of boxing. And he just wants to get paid fat and have guaranteed purses, then, hey, take the money. Take the money. As we speak, people who are getting signed over to Zuffa Boxing are getting paid bigger bags than they've ever got paid in their career, because this is the beginning. Zuffa is trying to sign all these big fighters, steal them from the sanctioning bodies to be able to give their Zuffa legitimacy. Now, if he does sign to Zuffa Boxing, what does this mean for the future of Zuffa? Bro, I'm telling you right now, the 147-pound division continues to stack up, right? And then let's just say you have a free agent out there right now by the name of Teofimo Lopez, managed under Keith Conley. Keith Conley has Conor Ben, Edgar Berlanga, Richardson Hitchens, all these fighters in Zuffa Boxing. Teofimo Lopez, who said he's done at 140 pounds and moving up to 147 pounds. If Devin Haney makes this move, they offer a big bag to Teofimo Lopez. Lopez looks at the roster and says, you know what? I like it. You got Hitchens in there. You got Haney in there. You got Conor Ben. Zuffa Boxing will have their rankings in the welterweight division. Those will be your top 4 fighters. What happens in the UFC and what's going to happen in Zuffa Boxing is they usually put the best versus the best. So if you're the champion, you'll be going up against the #1 ranked guy. The #2 and #3 could be fighting each other. The 3 and 4 could be fighting each other to get the interim title shot or something like that, depending on how they're going to do it. Teofimo Lopez could see Devin Haney make this move and say, I'm going. And now, just like that, the 147-pound division is starting to get stacked. And let's just say, sometime later on in the career of Shakur Stevenson, when he ends up wanting to move to 147 pounds, which he's talked about, not anytime soon, but he's talked about, if the 147-pound division continues to get stacked in Zuffa Boxing and they continue to keep grabbing fighters, and they're offering big names a lot of money towards the back ends of their career, then that's definitely a home that I can see Shakur Stevenson going to too later on. So it could potentially be absolutely fantastic news and another way to be able to draw in more talent, because there's top talent that is going over to this UBO. And now people are starting to recognize this welterweight division as a pretty competitive welterweight division, right? It's absolutely breaking news. There's a bunch of different ways that you can look at this. I think if Devin Haney decides to sign with Zuffa, then he's pretty much saying, I'm done being the WBO welterweight champion of the world, because we know the sanctioning bodies will not comply with a UBO. I'm done looking for a fight with Ryan Garcia. I'm done fighting anybody under a sanctioning body title. I'm going to look to become the Zuffa welterweight champion of the world. My goodness, man. Now, we don't know if Devin Haney's actually going to do this, but it's being reported around the boxing world. Let me know what you guys think. This is the MMA Boxing Addict channel. bringing it to you. Breaking news. I'm out.